Game 4 of the NLCS Mets versus Dodgers. And let me tell you, this one was a nail-biter.
Yeah, no kidding, this game had it all.
We're talking about those moments, you know, those ones that make you want to throw your hat at the TV.
Oh, absolutely. We're breaking down the plays that had everyone on the edge of their seats.
You've given us some amazing play-by-plays, and we're going to dissect those surprise moves, those clutch moments, and exactly how the Dodgers managed to pull off that win.
And to really grasp the weight of this game, we got to remember the pressure these teams were under coming into Game 4 of the series was tied 1-1 after splitting those first two in L.A.
Right.
And then the Mets, they snagged Game 3.
So it's 2-1 Mets.
Yeah.
Everyone's on edge.
Absolutely.
And I got to say, what really caught my eye was this whole walk Ohtani strategy the Mets had going. I mean, talk about a gutsy move, walking a guy who just hit a monster home run in the previous game.
It's like they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But in baseball, sometimes you got to shake things up.
Right, because doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, that's the definition of
insanity.
Exactly. And the source material we have mentions this walk Ohtani thing. It worked for them back in April, but could they really keep that up for an entire series?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Well, thinking of million-dollar players, let's talk about how Ohtani started this game. I mean, top of the first, and bam, leadoff home run off of Quintana.
And we're not talking about just any pitcher here.
Oh, no. Quintana.
He's known for being stingy with those homers.
Yeah, he doesn't give up a lot of home runs.
He's got this way about him, you know, throws a ton of pitches just outside the strike zone.
Oh, he's messing with them.
But he makes them look hittable.
So he's playing mind games with these batters.
Absolutely. And this is where it gets really interesting because remember the Dodgers.
Oh, yeah.
They led the league in walks.
They're so patient at the plate.
They're willing to wait for their pitch. And guys like Quintana, they have to work harder. They throw more pitches. And those pitches, well, they can turn into mistakes. And when you've got a guy like Ohtani who can capitalize on those mistakes, look out.
It's like he took a page out of the Dodgers playbook and used it against them.
Precisely.
And speaking of pressure, we got to talk about the Dodgers starting pitcher, Yamamoto. I mean, this was his game to lose, I think. Both the Mets and the Yankees wanted this guy.
Talk about being the new kid on the block.
Right. And you have to face the team that wanted to sign you. I mean, how do you even prepare for that mentally?
Yeah, I can't imagine the pregame jitters he must have had facing his almost team.
I'd pay good money to be a fly on the wall in the locker room.
Right?
But you know what? The Mets, they didn't just roll over. They put up 2 runs in the bottom of the third. And, of course, because this game wasn't dramatic enough already, there's a controversial replay review that overturns a double play.
Oh, man, talk about a momentum swing.
I mean, those are the moments that define a game right there. Those bang-bang plays where everything's on the line.
Absolutely. Could have gone either way.
In a game this close,
Every inch matters.
every single call could tip the scales.
That's playoff baseball for you.
You know, it's funny. Sometimes it's those huge game-changing plays that everyone remembers. But then there are those other times where it's the small, almost invisible moments that really determine the outcome. And this game, it had a bit of both.
Oh, for sure. You've got those explosive plays, but then there's this underlying current of smaller decisions and actions that can make or break you.
And this Tommy Edman guy really stood out to me in the source material he was quietly having himself this series.
Edmund, yeah, he was a real unsung hero for the Dodgers this game.
It's like he was saving his best for when it mattered most.
Exactly, and you can see that in Game 4. I mean, the guy turns into Mr. Clutch.
So tell me more. What were some of those clutch moments? I love those stories of those under-the-radar players who just shine when the spotlight's the brightest.
Well, in the third inning, right after the Mets had tied the game, Edmonds steps up and hits this go-ahead double.
Oh, man. Talk about a momentum shifter.
It wasn't just about getting those runs in that moment. It was like he could feel the energy shifting back to the Mets, and he just wrenched it right back for the Dodgers.
Yeah, it's almost like he sensed the danger and single-handedly turned the tide.
And that's what you need in a playoff series, that ability to step up when the pressure's on.
Speaking of pressure, let's talk about the Mets defense for a second. We can't just gloss over that drop ball by Vientos in the 4th inning.
Ooh, yeah, that was a tough one for the Mets. And it just goes to show you, in baseball, even the smallest mistakes can have huge consequences.
It's a game of inches, right?
Exactly. Vientos drops a routine fly ball, and suddenly the Dodgers get an extra out, which leads to more runs. It's a domino effect.
It's like giving a hungry dog a taste of steak. They're going to want more.
The Dodgers smelled blood in the water, and they went in for the kill.
And they capitalized on that mistake big time. Those extra runs really put them in the driver's seat.
It's a good reminder that sometimes it's not the big swing and a miss that costs you the game. It's those little things you let slip through the cracks.
Absolutely. And from there, it felt like the floodgates just opened up. Ohtani with another home run, this time a 2-run shot. And the Mets just couldn't seem to find a way to stop the bleeding.
They were trying to plug holes in a sinking ship, and it just wasn't working, and then there were the walks.
Oh, yeah. Don't even get me started on those walks.
8 walks in one game. They gave the Dodgers a free base runner practically every other inning.
8. That's setting a new record, right?
Yeah, a new postseason record for most walks in 4 consecutive games. It's almost unheard of.
You just can't win games like that. I mean, you're practically handing the Dodgers runs, especially a team as disciplined as they are.
It's like they were playing 2 different sports. The Dodgers were playing chess carefully, thinking several moves ahead, while the Mets were stuck playing checkers, just reacting to whatever came their way.
So Dodgers take Game 4, 10-2. And it wasn't even really that close. But what does this tell us about this Dodgers team? I mean, are we looking at a team that's just hitting their stride at the right time?
I think that's a great question. And honestly, this game, it really showed us that the Dodgers, they can win in different ways.
Right.
They've got the power hitters, like you said, Ohtani, Betts, but they also know how to manufacture runs. They capitalize on those mistakes, and they wear teams down.
Yeah, they just seem to have this aura about them, like they know they're going to win.
There's a certain confidence that championship teams have, and the Dodgers, they seem to have it in spades.
But on the flip side, you got to feel for the Mets.
Yeah.
I mean, 8 walks in a single game. It's got to mess with your head.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And it makes you wonder, is it just one of those things, or is there something more going on? Are they cracking under pressure?
Yeah, because that many walks, it's not just physical, right? It's mental. It's like they're doubting themselves up there.
And when you're facing a team like the Dodgers, a team that smells blood in the water, like that, those doubts, they can creep in and take over.
It's like they're playing not to lose instead of playing to win.
Exactly, and that's what makes this whole thing so fascinating. We're seeing 2 teams at a crossroads, one firing on all cylinders, the other one, well, maybe they're just stuck in their own heads.
And that's the beauty of baseball, isn't it? It's a game of inches of momentum, of those tiny moments that can change everything.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So are we witnessing the Dodgers march in the championship, or are the Mets going to find a way to regroup and battle back? Only time will tell. One thing's for sure, this series is far from over.
And that's why we love this game.
That's right, folks. Until next time, keep those scorecards handy, and we'll see you for another deep dive into the wild world of baseball.